Morning. I'm here this morning with the new director of the New South Wales Government Business Office in Guangzhou, China. Ms. Cher Jones, who has previously worked for ANZ and Invest Australia in Guangzhou, takes up her position as Director of Trade and Investment in the new office as of the 14th of February. The Guangzhou office is the second New South Wales Government Business Office, as well as Shanghai, that were both established in 2009. They provide a central contact point of interest for Chinese investors, buyers, students and visitors, all with an interest in New South Wales. So what are some of the emerging trends and opportunities for New South Wales small businesses in China? And how is New South Wales placed to take advantage of these opportunities?
Thank you. I'd love to be here. Nice and sunny in Sydney. Thank you. And I think the synergy between China and Australia, especially New South Wales, is really growing stronger year on year. Just a bit of a statistic here. I mean, the growth for the past 5 years is at about 4%, mainly in services, manufacturers, fields, metal commodities, and increasingly in food as well. Mainly because I think we all know China have a very strong appetite in securing quality food supplies and also energy supplies, particularly in coal and metal commodities. Apart from that, I mean, now they're looking further into services. I mean, there has been really strong growth in education and tourism. We just have this latest release of the 12 5-year plans. The central government in China is also in the provincial government. They're very keen on reducing carbon emissions, cutting back their carbon footprint and energy efficiency. So in that sense, there'll be a lot of opportunities in new energy, advanced materials, and other potential projects in the technology space.
Thank you. And China is a huge market, but it has had its fair share of challenges. What advice would you give to New South Wales companies to, I guess, get themselves, for the want of a word, China ready for success in growing in that market? And what are some of the core characteristics and competencies that a company needs to have to be successful in China?
Yeah, that's a very good question. The question always comes to a lot of exporters. I guess the most important is to really understand the market condition. I mean, as you know, China's really changing so rapidly. Economically, it's very dynamic. One day is very different from another day. So doing your homework in terms of what are the trends, what could be the potential opportunities, and as well as traps that we need to be aware of. Doing good research and doing good analysis is fundamental. Apart from that, I think we always talk about business culture, not just about languages, not just about the way they're doing business, but also understanding their agenda. So a different company, we're working with a medium-sized company in China, versus you working with the larger state-owned companies, they have a very different agenda as well. So really understand their motivation is important. But I would have advice as well in terms of communication. It would be much easier that be ready to have bilingual capability, meaning that putting some effort translating your information into Chinese is definitely very, very important. Other than that, I think that's always a tricky area in terms of partnership. What are the suitable models that you will be going into, whether you're doing trading or whether you further into the next step, potential joint ventures or investments. You do need to do very good due diligence on your partners, how to select them, how to identify them, and knowing their capabilities has a good match with your companies. So that's something that really have to work a lot, put in a lot more effort. For that, with New South Wales government, we do have programs ready to assist. With our export advisor team, we work very closely with Austrade to provide advice through 2 programs. One is the Export Development and Advice Program, and the other one is the Trade Promotion Program. And these 2 programs is actually really addressing what I have mentioned early on, the things that you need to be doing, the groundwork that you'll be doing, and we are here to assist. So we're very keen on helping you.
Thank you very much for that. And I mean, one of the key areas of concern for companies going into China is protecting their intellectual property, and we haven't really gone into that today because, as we said, we were mentioning before, it's such an in-depth thing to discuss, and it's not something we could really clearly explain in five minutes. But one of the key messages we want to get across is for companies to be aware of the IP issue when they are going into China, and the best thing that they can do is to just ensure that they have thought through what they're doing, have good partnerships over there, but also to consult with their lawyers over here. The Institute of Export actually runs courses in international trade law and protecting your IP, and it's one of the things that we do recommend that companies undertake. It's just a one-day workshop, but it really gives companies the understanding of what they need to be aware of before they go into these markets. It's not going to tell them what to do, but it just makes them aware of what they should be aware of when they go into these markets. Now, the other thing is that China is a hugely diverse market with varying levels of development. As the New South Wales government official responsible for fostering the links in this dynamic region, what are your strategies for promoting New South Wales capabilities? And I guess what people really want to hear is how can you help them?
Yes. Very good question on the IP protection issues. It's almost like a black hole in many ways. I think what really helped would go back to the comment I made about the partnering model and how you understand your potential buyers and your partners to have a very strong a good knowledge of their whole supply chain, try to take advantage of their needs. If they really need to source certain raw materials from the upstream level, then if you could assist in Australia, build in that boundary and have that mutual advantage, it will be an effective way to have certain protection on your IP and you work more closely together. But surely, this particular issue should always, be very careful when you get into China and forming a partnership. In terms of strategy on the ground with us, with Guangzhou office for the New South Wales government, we do have a very strong network with our companies in China, also with our stakeholders. We work very closely with the Australian Consul General, Guangzhou, and also Austrade, and many other reputable service providers. So our networks is very robust on the ground in South China. Apart from that, other thing that we would like to do more effectively, and also we're actually working very actively now, is to identify from day one who are the companies that we would like to targeting at, who are the companies who have a strong interest in trading partnership with Australia, with New South Wales, and we have that in the system. And we do a lot of due diligence from day one, knowing their needs and understanding their whole supply chain, and also their financial capabilities. The other way to do it is when we receive a project coming from our headquarters back home to China, then using the projects at hand, we'll then do a matchmaking. So we go out there and find companies, in the market that are suitable, and come back and helping with so-called partnering exercise. One last thing that we always do pretty well together with Australia most of the time is the trade events. So we do welcome delegation coming from Australia into China and attend some of the trade shows and some of the high-profile events. We will also try to arrange side meetings to facilitate some of these cooperation and partnership.
Thank you very much. I think you're going to be a huge resource for New South Wales exporters looking to go over into China, and we do welcome you to Australia, but also to the team here at the department. For companies that are interested in getting in contact with Cher, all the details her details are all available on the website, which is www.business.newsouthwales.gov.au, and she would be more than happy, I'm hoping, to talk to any companies that have got an interest in going into that region, but also if they have queries about expanding their exports into China. So thank you very much.
Thank you.